Is it,
What time? At what time?
is it, okay, so it's 5:10. I'll call the meeting to order now.
Okay.
And so we are continuing to have our our meetings remote per the governor's allowance with the pandemic. I expect that we will be moving to hybrid soon, maybe even our next meeting. There's Kathleen. Okay, you're off the hook, Joyce.
Okay, Kathleen. Woohoo!
Yeah, I just called the meeting to order at 5:10. So we had not quite gotten to the roll call yet. So, right, with the full remote meetings, we do the audible roll call. So I'll start. So Elena Brugos here.
Joyce Gilmore.
Jody Kersey.
Kathleen?
Oh, you're muted.
And I can't hear you guys very well. Kathleen Nicholson here. I'm going to call in as well as the computer because I can't, I hope you can hear me, but I can't hear you guys very well.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but.
Kevin Rudden here.
All right, so first thing on our agenda is to accept the minutes from last time. So let me.
I move to make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
Second.
Okay. All right. So all in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
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 Okay. All right. Wonderful. And then treasurer's report, Jody, has there been any change since our last meeting?
Nope, there has not been any change.
Okay. So I think that we could probably just refer to our last minutes to get the numbers out if that works for you, Kathleen.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So we've got our main agenda item is outreach and publicity. We talked about a few different things that we wanted to do to publicize the committee's activities. And in particular, we wanted to do a little bit of fundraising effort since we paid out most of our fund in the last application round. And we want to be in a position such that we can help people again this year. So just to update you, I did update the application as, you know, we chose a date, which was good because deadlines are good for me. Like we said, April 15th, and I'm like, oh, I'll do it before then, but it ended up being April 15th. So it's up on the website. I asked if Janet Hubner at the Senior Center could print some out to have at the Senior Center because we like to have hard copies there. I'm also planning to bring some to the library. And then Jody, I don't know if you have printed copies available at the treasurer's office, but it's something that we say on the application.
We're happy to,
okay.
We're happy to have additional too. And I think we also suggested that perhaps at the town meeting, maybe setting something up where folks could grab that on their way in.
Sure. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. Yes. So I think there are a few things relating to the town meeting and the town election. So let's see. So I'm looking at the agenda, just the order that I wrote here. So we talked about doing a flyer to distribute about the tax aid fund and the progress of meter. Kevin, I don't know if you've written up any notes. I have some notes based on information that we have from before. Do you know has there been any additional progress since
no, because the legislature is concentrating on the budget. It is where it is. And as soon as they get done with the budget, I understand there's a whole bunch of things that are going to move through.
Okay.
But for right now, it's in the appropriate committee awaiting the appropriate votes.
Okay. So it's it's on its way, but we don't have a due date when we're expecting it to be available. Okay. All right. Well, so I think we can include something to that effect in the flyer. Just saying that it's going through the legislation, that it's moved through successfully, and that we expect a positive outcome at some point. I would say, are we guessing this calendar year?
Yes,
So sometime this calendar year, and
which
but
means
then
it wouldn't go till fiscal 24.
okay. So
Can I ask Jody, how much money do we have?
Let me just pull that up real quick. I know as a result of the last numbers that I gave Elena, I'm just going to pull it up actually from that source. Okay. Okay, so we have, oh shoot, that's the wrong number. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I should have been prepared to have this at my fingertips. I just have to search through the computer because I have the year ending FY21 numbers, and then I know we just expended. I think we have around $1,000, but I don't want to give you a guess.
yeah,
Let me give you
I'm
the
looking
exact
at
amount.
I'm looking at the minutes from last time, and it looks like it was $895.50.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
and there were no new deposits, so
yeah.
yeah.
So that's probably, I mean, it's a little under 1,000, sort of in that ballpark. Yeah, so definitely if we want to help people this year, we need to increase that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I'd hope to get a little further with drafting like a flyer. I have like a few things that I'm happy to share with people. But before I do that, why don't we talk through sort of specifically other plans that we have. So we had talked about sharing info at the town meeting and the town election. And I talked to the town clerk and asked whether we could put some papers for the town meeting. She said that we can on the table where they have the annual report. So they prefer not to have other things on the check-in table because there's too much going on there. So they have a separate table where we can include our documents. And then Kathleen, you were looking into having possibly some high school helpers. So
yeah. So for the election day, it sounds like the National Honor Society could definitely get volunteers to cover, at least the off-school hours part of that. Or do we have that day off? Is that a day off for school? I don't
think
know.
it's a school day.
No.
Oh, it's a school day.
Okay. Maybe it's just the national elections, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but then we had agreed that it kind of probably makes sense to just have the flyer there versus like kids hanging out like at the town election kind of thing. So, but yeah, that is not going to be a problem at all.
Okay, so that would be probably after maybe 3 o'clock or so for the town election day.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and then it's possible that none of us will be in a position to like staff the table in the hours before that. But I think, even in the afternoon and evening, that's when a lot of people come and vote. So I did talk to the town clerk, and she says, she gave me a contact of who to ask about getting a table. And she said that, that would be fine. Although she did suggest that I should not be at the table because I don't know if you've all seen, I'm running for select board. So like I should not be seen to be campaigning within whatever number of feet of the doorway. So
you have to stay out near the roadway.
Yeah. So even so I can't wear my tax aid committee hat that day. And anyhow,
But
so
I
Right.
certainly could do something, and quite honestly, I think that the people who need that are the people that vote early in the
Right.
day.
Right.
Like
So-
the senior
Oh,
citizens, they
yeah.
come early.
So
And then
That
the
is
kids
true.
can do
If you
whatever
have
in the
time-
afternoon, but I certainly can spend some time in the morning.
okay,
Um,
okay.
What day is it? Is it what
It's
is it on?
Tuesday. It's
Hey,
Tuesday.
good. That's great, because that's my day off.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. Well, and I may be able to see if I can recruit somebody else also.
okay,
So we can plan about that. But I think any time that we can have staffing the table will be more outreach, than not having
Yeah.
it. So even
Yeah.
if it's not the whole day, I think that would be great. And yeah, so I can see if there's anyone else I know. I know Kathleen, you'll be working. Jody, you'll be working. Kevin, you, I believe, also have a day job.
Yeah.
So yes. So, but we'll see. Like maybe I can see if there's someone else who can help at least, for a little bit. And but one of the goals of the outreach, though, is also for getting donations. And so that, I mean, I think getting people coming in the evening, like anyone that we sort of different demographics who may need the help from the tax aid committee will be
Right.
our, hope that we'll be getting the donations from. So
okay,
I think, whatever we can do will be helpful.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So, so I guess what I'll do is I'll communicate with you, Kathleen, about like staffing specifically, and Joyce also figuring out a time, and then we can see if there's anyone else who might be available to either keep Joyce company or fill in when Joyce is not there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't mind doing that at all.
Okay, thank you. That's wonderful. Okay. Then, right, donation request options. So, excuse me. We had talked about the possibility of including a slip in the mailers for the bills, and is that still an option, Jody? Oop, you're muted.
Sorry. That's definitely still an option. And what I'm doing right now is costing out the difference between just like, a regular postage, sort of tri-folded, stamped on its own kind of mailing, as opposed to an insert with, say, a return envelope or something that makes it easy within an existing bill. So depending upon that postage, I think either option would work. I think you're more likely to get visibility around it if it's inside a bill, a real
I
estate
think
bill,
so,
which
too.
is an
I definitely do.
expected bill.
It's not cheap mailing things now, because
Yeah.
that's gonna be like the mailing's going up, and
Yeah, so I'm just waiting to hear from our vendor on that. I know that they were quite busy, but I will circle back. Actually, I'll follow up with an email now, and just get that number. That way we know, how many we're dealing with. And honestly, if you're changing the, I don't think it's so much a cost thing, but a production thing, as far as slipping that in. It's not really going to raise postage, arguably, but it's just the manpower to either stuff or include that as part of like the line process to kind of fold and get bills on their way. So I'm just waiting to hear back so I can let you guys know as soon as he contacts me.
Okay, so I'll share my screen for a moment. This is, are you seeing my screen now? So this is what we have used in past years. So a third of a page paper, and I'm not sure. I think previous treasurer had it like arranged for the printing. So I don't remember whether I gave like a single sheet with this 3 times or and so this is what we had. I think we pared it down a lot because we figured less text was better. So this is possibly what we can use if we want to do with just the single 3rd page insert. If we want to do something more like a trifold separate, I think we could consider what other information we'd want to have.
Well, I think the third sheet fits better in a tax bill and doesn't raise the postage than a trifold would.
Right.
And
And you know that one of the other things is that, I mean, it's looking white right there, but we decided that it needed to be like a deep pink or something like that, because so that it
like-
stuck out.
Mhm.
yeah, do you know how many we're gonna need? Jody, how many tax bills go out?
Oh, gosh, about 5,300 when there's a mailing.
Okay.
That's one of the questions that I asked. What was our last mailing, this last go round? So that's a number I'm waiting back on too.
So
Okay.
are you talking about this going out with the July bill?
I would say so. Yep.
All right, so if you need 5,300 divided by 3 is at 1,800 sheets. Okay.
Which getting paper and getting that stuff stacked and printed, the cost won't be tremendous. I mean, we have a copy machine in-house, and, our vendors are pretty good as far as our supplies go. So getting a colored paper that would sort of fit that bill. And then, even if I have no problem, our in the school has, a cutter if we wanted to get them in 3 if that was more economical, and then cut them in preparation for inserting. So that all plays into how does Kelly and Ryan receive that and what's easiest for their process. So it might even be a situation where it's actually easier for them to print it. Like, you know what I mean? There's a fee that way. So I will price it out sort of holistically around, us getting the supplies, printing them in-house, cutting them, and then handing it off, or just giving them the file in a Word doc and then them letting it be part of their run.
Okay.
The only other, while we're on this topic, the only other comment that I want to make, I think what you did, Elena, looks great. I know I had offered and mentioned that we could add a Unipay link on there.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd actually even go as far as to say, put a QR code so that it can get scanned, and then they can just, we can build a transaction so that they can just literally, if you're sitting at your phone, you can go like that, I'm doing my thumb,
Right.
go like this, scan it, and it will bring up the user interface to like scroll down and just make a donation, so to speak. And I can also put like splash language if you're just going to pay a real estate bill. Hey, would you like to? And then they can click on the side and go somewhere else and, add $5 to their transaction. And in one fell swoop, it will just be, their real estate bill plus a $5 or $1 round up even, you know what I mean? Like type of donation. But we can add language very easily to the website as well.
I mean, that would be fantastic. I think that would, a lot of people would be, I guess the lower effort to make the donation, I think will increase the donations. A lot of people have good intentions, but then don't necessarily follow through.
So let me ask you this, depending upon how fast I can get them to build a transaction, real estate bills are due next week. We've had the bulk of folks pay. But again, it's just messaging, and there's already a transaction built behind the scenes for sort of a miscellaneous item. Would you say that if I can get it up and running rather quickly, just put it out there? Can we?
I wonder if we should vote on that. I mean, it sounds like a great idea to me. So I guess I would entertain a motion along those lines.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I'll make a motion that we would do that if we can possibly get it out sooner than later. I make the motion.
Kevin seconds.
All right, so all in favor of Jody seeing about getting the donation link live as soon as possible, say aye.
Aye.
So we gotta say our names. Elena, aye.
Joyce, aye.
Jody, aye.
Kevin, aye.
Kathleen, aye.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Because then I think, if it's even in time for, say, the town meeting and town
Oh,
election,
sure. Yep.
we could include like a QR code in the material. So
Yeah,
I think,
that's no problem at all. I can get that going. If you want to share over what you've written, Elena, I'll just ensure that we're saying the same thing in both
right,
places. I think
okay,
that
okay.
consistency is important.
Yeah, I think, yeah, the
And I'll
text,
use that same messaging.
okay, so the text is not totally solidified, but I'm happy, let me get up what I've been sort of
You know
so,
what? While you're pulling that up, one of the things that Jody reminded me of, if you're pricing it out, there was something I was involved with a while ago with the town. I can't remember if it was a 350th or whatnot, but we actually had BVT. They actually did a little design for it, so they could like design the content and then print it, and it was really economical to do. So that might be,
okay.
I mean, I don't know if that'll take more time, but it may be worthwhile.
Okay, hang on
Consider.
a moment. Oops. Sorry, I was just, yes, I was playing around. Yeah, if we have contacts who could do something like that in this sort of turnaround, like short
Yeah,
turnaround
it's a quick
time.
turnaround.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can also do like some, like I've done some design stuff myself. So like for something like this, I could, and I was playing around with a little bit of like clip art that we could have for images. So let me share my screen again. So I was having trouble zooming in, but I found, if we wanted to do like a half-page thing, for some reason I cannot find how to zoom in to this, which is very annoying. This is
Yeah,
Google.
could I just talk
Hmm.
about an old adage
Sure.
that says, keep it simple, stupid?
Stupid.
Yes.
Yes.
So what I had in mind was something like meter update, um, applications available. So something along the lines of, update on meter. So something like, please make a donation. I guess something like, applications are available. Maybe those three points. I think meter update, applications available, something about when it's due, and then encourage people to make a donation. And then I was thinking just with a few images, which if I can figure out, there's the Zoom thing. Sorry. So I just found like, a little meter. There's a little like house with a calculator. There's a donation thing and a little house. I was something, if we have, a few lines of text, and then I could block it out with, the text and the images. And then if we include the QR code, that could be something that people could scan really easily. So that's roughly what I had in mind. So thoughts on that?
I think it's a good idea. I just know you're so busy, Elena, if it's too much.
Well,
if you just have the text.
Right. I know that this
And
this doesn't take that long, like to do, because I have like software for, like, I have design software. So like I just used Google Slides because I could share that really easily. But I think, it would only take an hour or so. I think, especially if, actually I can share the link to text here. Let's see, does, so I haven't really used chat. There must be a chat. Can I chat? Yes,
Yeah,
I can.
right at the top.
So this is this Google Doc. And so, right, keeping to Joyce's point, I think if we just pare it down to like a line or so for each item, I think that the meter update might be the longest, but saying that it's going through legislation and we at this point expect it to be available in FY24. But any other points that people want to make? Oops.
No.
Something like this. Update on meter. Oh, right. I had here a newsletter submission.
So is this the one pager that you're thinking would be on the table?
I was thinking like a half page, so
okay.
it definitely needs some paring down. So the
Yep.
newsletter submission is just like text that's available for harvesting.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's always, I'm always a big fan of like bullets, you know, because I feel like people are going to give a glance and then look for like an actionable as well.
Yes,
So I think
yes.
that, you know, bullet action item, bullet action, like something that's like, or even something like, did you know, or the team
Oh,
is
yeah.
currently working on, and then bullets, meters. This will potentially, if approved, this will reduce yada, yada, yada. Helping your fellow senior. We have a fund that allows us to, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like that breakup of text is always helpful. And then if there's like an actionable, kind of calling that out, or here's how you can help, and then make a donation, round up your tax bill, yada, yada, find out more, and then scan the QR code, and maybe that brings them to that, you know, the Unipay transaction where they can actually, you know, take action at that point. That would be my only feedback. I think the what is good. I think that maybe the visual piece, that would be my recommendation.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, pare it down to a few bullet points. I like that sort of like a big
this
text
is what
sort
we're working
of
on.
like
Yeah.
heading and an action and like here's what you can do. And then
like
I
who
think
we are, right? The taxation needs committee.
yeah.
What are we working on? Bing, bing, bing. Like, what does that mean for you? You know what I mean? Like the who, what, where, why, when kind of stuff, whatever is applicable within that. And then what's your part, you know, or how can you help? You know, that kind of thing.
Okay. I like that. I like that idea. Thank you. So, right. So, I mean, I feel like I can get this worked up. I was hoping to have it a little bit closer to worked up for tonight, but life got in the way again. But I think, you know, I still feel like we've got a good time as long as we can agree on the content, and if people are okay with a certain amount of flexibility in the specific wording. Maybe I will leave it up on the Google Drive so people can like wordsmith, and then maybe Jody, you and I can sort of finalize the text together, the text and the like QR code if we end up having one. So, okay. And then I think, and then Kevin, if you have any more updates you want us to include about meter.
No, I checked actually yesterday, and that's about where it is. So I
Okay.
don't expect it to change between now and the end of May.
Yeah, but I do expect that many people will be curious, especially if they remember voting on it last year. So.
And Elena, just to circle back, I know the treasurer's information, I was having a bit of trouble getting it up, but the $895.50 is accurate as far as what is still in the fund. So $895.50 is the current balance.
Great. Okay. All right. It looks like time is running out. I scheduled this officially for 45 minutes because I wanted to make sure that people had time to get to the select board meeting, if they're attending that. I guess, so I think, are we okay with plans for like me working with Jody to finalize the flyer before the meeting? Okay. And then Jody and I will also talk about sort of our printing options, like whether we can just print some at home or like some other vendor. And I think I'm happy to donate something to this cause for printing. I guess the other topic we didn't cover is, excuse me, a letter to the town crier saying that we have, like, maybe with some of these same updates. So I think we wouldn't be able to have the graphics or that sort of thing, but I think actually timing a letter in the town crier when we have the slip in the tax bills might be really good. To let
And I
people
think the
know.
simplicity of like what Joyce was alluding to is, use the same format, use the same letter, use the same, you know what I mean? We don't have to recreate the wheel. And I think that consistent messaging is more powerful than it being a new thing in a different place. If you have the same thing in a new place, then I just think it's recognizable and sort of really gets it out. That's just my opinion, but I think it'll really get it out there.
Okay.
I agree. And if it's not going out until July, remember they take either July or early August off the crier.
Okay. All right. So
So,
I'll check the schedule there.
Yeah, if you go online, you can check their publishing schedule, but I'm pretty sure they skipped the second half of July.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, I think we'll aim for June, maybe, for getting a letter in a June edition.
Yeah, and I can help you write the same wonderful prose you did last time, Elena.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Just I am jammed though the next 2 weeks, so I'm just
okay. So I mean, so then are we okay with waiting for like June for a town crier letter to coordinate that timing more with the tax bills? Okay. All right, let's do that. And I think that then we have some plans. So are there any other things people want to cover before we all, I guess we've not scheduled a next meeting. Do people have thoughts about how soon we should meet next? Do we have any immediate needs, or can we wait until, say, June or July?
We haven't had any applications come in, have we, Jody?
No. I think it just went live and they're not due until October. So
Right.
I think the question is whether we want to check in about publicity maybe and see what the returns are of this outreach that we're doing. I think.
Yeah.
Is everybody around in July? Or are we all taking off? Or
I am not.
I go on vacation the last week in July, last full week in July.
I mean, if you want to meet sometime in, mid to late June, maybe that makes sense.
Mid to late June. Okay, I think, does that sound reasonable? So I could send out an email or round of emails with our scheduling attempts. I think mid to late June sounds good. Just monitoring our progress and then seeing if we want to adjust our plans at all. So, all right. Well, I think that sounds good. Were there any other topics that people wanted to cover?
Just good luck in May to you,
Thank
Elena.
you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. All right. So
just for the minutes, I'm sorry because I was late. For the acceptance of the minutes, who approved and seconded?
Oh, who made the motion? I think Joyce made the motion.
I made the motions.
I seconded.
Okay, perfect. Same as last time.
And it was unanimous.
Try to be consistent.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
All right. Well, then thank you all for your time and your flexibility. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
All right, all in favor of
Okay.
adjourning? I'll say Elena, aye.
Joyce, I.
Jody, I.
Kathleen, I.
and Kevin, so.
Can I
Excellent.
ask a
Okay, so-
question before we finish? It has nothing to do with us, our meeting. Do you know what's
Sure.
on the agenda for the select board meeting?
It's a bit long, I believe.
Budget?
Yeah, there's
I
quite a
feel
bit.
like it's budget, but
There's a budget hearing. They're also going to be interviewing 2 consulting companies for a water study. So I think it's going to be a long meeting.
okay.
Mm,
All right. Well, I
Hmm.
will officially adjourn then, since we've had the motion, so it's 5:46.
46.
And I will be in touch by email, and thank you all.
Okay,
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.
So now I'm trying to find this
Wait,
stop.
I know, I'm
record
trying to find the
button.
close. Oh, yeah.
Says I started recording, so I know if I leave, maybe stop recording. There we go.